Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Avanti Woman Podcast, where we empower, connect, and build women to move forward, feel confident, and thrive in healthcare, finance, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. Today, I'm excited to have the wonderful Dr. Maryam Seddigh Tonekaboni, founder and CEO of Health Watchers 360, back with us to share the first of the 5 secrets to the fountain of youth and of staying young. Welcome, Dr. Seddigh. It's an honor to have you back. A little over a month ago, we had you on and you spoke about and you gave a comprehensive talk about women and anti-aging medicine. And you specifically focused on women in their peri and postmenopausal years. I'm very excited to have you back and super, super curious to hear and learn more about this first secret, which is fasting. Yay!
Yes. Hi, Nairy. Pleasure to be here again with you and your wonderful audience. I'm excited for this session also. Is a lot of, hacks and points that I want to share with you and your audience. Then last time, we talked about major hormonal changes happen during the menopause, which will affect our body and metabolism. And those hormones are progesterone, testosterone, and estrogen. They're main hormones. And I mentioned and referred about women's premenopausal and menopausal, putting their age range of between 40 to 55. That's the time we see all these changes in our body and we become very aware of them. Then this is a tough time. The range 40 to 55 is a rough time because we don't know when we get our cycle. One day, we have to start mapping our cycle because sometimes they're coming or they're going. And this is important. We track them and find out what's happening to our hormones. Then basically, women at around age 40s, all the hormones used to produce by the ovaries. But when we get to premenopausal age, then gradually, slowly, the ovaries, winding down, and they're not producing these wonderful hormones for our body. And they start, handing over to the other organ that taking care of all these wonderful hormones, which is our adrenal, gland hormone. Pause.
Yeah, I remember you kind of touched base upon this last time when you spoke, the adrenal glands.
Yes. Then this is very important. We learn about, adrenal gland, because when we talk about adrenal, everybody just remembering that cortisol and a stress hormone. And that's what I'm emphasizing. When you're in your 30s, when you have a stress, when you are having challenge, you still have your backup, your ovaries, that they can make your hormone, your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone. And your adrenal can take care of your stress level by producing those cortisol and also other hormones. But when you get to your 40s and your 50s and, later on, there is no ovaries anymore. And everything will fall on your adrenal gland. And that's very important that you start taking care of your body, your stress level, and your lifestyle. If you care about those hormones. If not, then you just gradually start, feeling hot flashes, feeling fatigue, and also poor sleep, changes in your body as early as your 40s, and you don't know what's happening to your body. And the reason is you don't have the good hormone that used to be produced by your ovaries. Now everything on your adrenal, and you're stressed out. And then, everything gradually start falling apart. Then we're going to talk about how we can just naturally helping our body to go through the process of healing and producing these good hormones without, starting extra hormone like a bioidentical hormone or other type of supplement but just doing naturally. It's one of the main way of doing this is doing fasting. And fasting is a science, and there are so many researches has been done for fasting, different type of fasting, and it really shows it can be prescribed as a safe medical intervention as well as a lifestyle regimen which can improve women's health in many folds. And when I'm talking in many folds, it means it can help you for reproduction, and reproductive system. It can improve your mental health. It can prevent you from certain, cancers, specifically breast cancer.
Wow.
And it can reduce the occurrence of the breast cancer. This study has been done, and we've been recommending for patients with the background of the breast cancer to do and implement this fasting, as a lifestyle to just reduce the risk of reoccurrence of the cancer. Or musculoskeletal disease, joint inflammation, that, it's a common problem in the middle age and elderly women. It can really, by long fasting, like I'm talking about 3 to 5 days water fasting,
Oh, Lord.
which is not easy. And we're
Yeah.
not encouraging everyone to start at that level. But ultimately, when you train your body, you can get to that level. And at that time of 3 to 5 days long fasting, you really can reduce the inflammation in your body and decrease the pressure off of your joint. And it can be sustainable permanently for your body.
Wow, that's amazing. So basically, Dr. Seddigh, you're saying women, and I fall into that category, between 40 and 55, and everyone's different, right? Some people can
Absolutely.
be fine until they're 50. So this is when the estrogen slowly starts to give up producing those hormones and adrenal glands take over. And one of the ways to really keep ourselves sane in every way is the fasting methods that you are talking about. That's
Absolutely.
fabulous.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And we have so many different fasting to stimulate these wonderful hormones. Then I'm going to start talking about each type of fasting, what you can do, how long you should do fasting. And I just want to start talking about, when I'm talking fasting, you need to consider your medical problems. If
Mm-hmm.
you're diabetic, if you have chronic diseases, you always want to talk with your primary doctor also to hold your hands during fasting, and having the knowledge if you need to have the monitoring your blood pressure, your sugar. I highly recommend for anyone to want to start fasting to have the glucometer, which is the blood sugar monitoring machine. Very um, it's not really expensive, it's affordable, you can have it, you can monitor, and you need to listen to the signs that your body gives you as a alarm. Then it doesn't mean when I'm saying 17 hours you have to go all the way 17 hours fasting.
Mm-hmm.
You listen to the body. If you say you're feeling dizzy, you're not able to do your daily activity, you feel very fatigued, you cannot really talk well because of you feeling fatigued, then these are the signs that you need to break your fasting. Then this is
Mm.
important you stay healthy when you're doing fasting for the better purpose. All right, then let's start with our first fasting, which is the fasting to improve your metabolic syndrome and also insulin resistance. Always remember, when we talk about insulin resistance, remember about your estrogen,
Mm-hmm.
because your estrogen is the hormone sending the pulse to your pancreas to producing your insulin. Then when you're around your menopause or premenopause and you have a low estrogen level, then there is no signal going to your pancreas to producing your insulin. And low insulin means insulin cannot score the glucose into your cells, and you will end up with a too much blood sugar in your blood, and that by itself causing inflammation, and also causing more insulin resistance, causing congestion in your liver, because there is no metabolism of the blood sugar in your body. Then basically, when we have too much sugar in your bloodstream, and your body cannot doing this regular metabolism and causing more insulin resistance. Is like a vicious cycles happening to your body. It puts you at risk of cardiovascular disease. It's increasing the fat around the abdomen. That's the fat that everybody talking about. What's happening to me is just suddenly, I'm getting to menopause. I cannot burn this fat. Yes, because we don't have those good hormones. And then elevated blood pressure and so on. Then what you can do to breaking this cycle and producing your estrogen and bring this insulin resistance in naturally to your body, you can start doing 15 hours fasting. This is recommended. You do during the 15 hours, you do water fast. If you're really dependent on caffeine, and sometimes I see patients having hard time to be, off of caffeine, it's just you see a lot of withdrawal symptoms. You can just have just a straight black coffee, a small cup. You can have it, or just green tea. I recommend don't drink any of those, but if you have to, that's okay, because you want to function. You don't want to suffer. Then during those 15 hours, your body starts repair inside your cells, decreasing your inflammation, increasing the growth factor by doing fasting, and the growth factors decrease the insulin resistance in your body naturally, automatically. And the other effect of, these 15 hours fasting, it's on your liver. Then liver does not receive any carb and sugar during the fasting time. Then what it happens is still your body needs the metabolism and just, needs the fuel. Then liver start, fat burning. This is the time. This is the valuable metabolism, fat burning. It means reducing all those risk factors that we talk about, it, losing weight, and just the happiest person ever we can be.
This is very interesting. So Dr. Seddigh, when you're doing 15-hour fasting, are you doing that just once a week?
No, we have to, have these 15 hours is an intermittent fasting throughout the week. Then This is one purpose. This is just for insulin resistance. You can do every day 15 hours fasting. And you can have one day a week, just a feast, and you can just enjoy your life and just eat whatever you wanted. But these intermittent fasting is ongoing throughout the week. Then 7 o'clock you finish, 8 o'clock at nighttime you finish your dinner, 15 hours, you don't eat anything, drink water, and then you break your fast. And you can eat, certain amount of carb, which will be 20 grams of carb, 50 grams of protein, and 60% of good fat. And when I'm talking about a good fat, it means olive oil, grapeseed oil, avocado oil, sesame oil, pumpkin oil, flaxseed oil. You can just introduce into your diet, and you'll see the benefit of each of these oils, that it can produce certain hormones in your body.
I see. So now I understand. So basically, this part you're talking about women as we're aging between 40 and 55, our estrogen is going down, right? Because ovaries are not producing it. And it's the estrogen that tells the pancreas to produce insulin.
Producing. Yeah, insulin. Naturally, it does.
Release, insulin. So in order to help this process, since we're pressuring the adrenal glands, one of the ways to do it is this intermittent fasting. You fast every day, right? But you make sure that when you start to eat and when you stop, you have 15 hours that you're not going to eat anything. So I start eating at 11 and then I have to stop by 7 p.m. So that the following day at 11 again and have sensible. Very good. Awesome.
Exactly. This is, the duration of fasting is determined to what type of hormonal changes will happen to your body. Longer fasting has a different effect, which I'm going over one by one. Okay. That was the first fasting for reducing the insulin resistance. The second fasting is for adrenal fatigue and cortisol level, to managing and your cortisol level. It just makes it, in the lower level. And these type of fasting is completely depend on what type of lifestyle you have. If you're the woman having the rushing woman syndrome, which is always on, on the, rush, and your stress level is here, and you cannot really manage your stress, and this is your lifestyle, chronic stress, you will have different type of fasting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have just, acute, stress, that this is normal for all of us, which is healthy, actually, we call this healthy stress because it can stimulate certain neurons in your brain. We need a little bit of stress and causing motivation and good hormones. You will have different type of also fasting, which I'll go over with you. Then basically, patients with high level of stress, constant stress, I don't recommend long fasting for them. Why? Because the long fasting also by itself can increase your cortisol level. Then we don't want adding up more cortisol to your body. We need to just, give a little bit, rest to your adrenal gland that be able to produce all those good hormones that ovaries used to make it for us.
Mm-hmm.
Then shorter, fasting, which is 13 to 15 hours fasting, is recommended for overly stressed out, women. You do 5 days of intermittent short fasting. You can have 1 day of 17 hours fasting, and adding 1 day of also 24 hours if your body take it. If no, just do 5 days of intermittent, 1 day of 17 hours, and 1 day of no fasting, which is your 5th day. Then that's for overly stressed people. But if you have the lifestyle that you can manage and it's not a chronic stress life, you can do actually longer fasting, which usually I recommend water fast for 3 days. We can do 16 to 24 hours. You get to this point gradually. You don't jump to start these long fasting. You need to train your body. Then 16 to 24 hours fasting for 3 days. And the rest you can do any type of short fasting for the rest of the week. And you still can have 1 day of feast. Then that's the, formula that you can make it for your life. And it's very doable. It's not expensive. There is no cost, and everyone can, do this type of fasting. And while you do this type of fasting, when you break your fasting, during the break, you have to have like a ketobiotic fasting, which is keep the carb as low as 50 grams, and your protein still will be 50 grams, and you continue having your good fat to 60% of your diet after you're breaking your fasting.
Ketobiotic?
Ketobiotic, it means your carb is low, your fat is high.
Got it.
Then you can just, using the good fat as a source of your metabolism, and you can lose more on your weight also, and controlling the adrenal gland too. And certain, vegetable you can introduce during this fasting, fermented veggie, kimchi, sauerkraut. It's good for your adrenal, fatigue and adrenal health too. The third fasting will be the fasting increasing your estrogen level. And again, when I'm talking about estrogen, you remember the insulin. When we talk about insulin, you remember your estrogen. Then we're going to have a good balance of the estrogen, and not too high, not too low, because in both the spectrum causing insulin resistance. Then you want to make sure you keep it in the level that your body likes and the body can function normally. Then we want to have, I'm going to talk about three different type of estrogen we have in our body. One of them is the only good estrogen. And we want to produce this good estrogen through our fasting and through the good, healthy diet, and also healthy food, which I talk about. The other two estrogen, they're not healthy. They're bad estrogen. And one of them actually can cause breast cancer. Then we want to just try to help our body to metabolize those bad estrogen very quickly. And what we can do by doing fasting and helping the body metabolizing the bad estrogen to just keep our body safe and healthy. Then there are three different type of fasting we can do to improve our estrogen level. First one is an intermittent short fasting, 13 to 15 hours, again, to decrease the insulin resistance. We just talked about that. Then you can do the 13 to 15 hours intermittent fasting. And the other fasting that it can improve the amount of your good estrogen is a gut health fasting. What is gut health fasting? Is a 20 hours water fast. And what it does, it's helping to producing the amount of your microbiome, which is the good bacteria in your gut and in your intestine. And what it does, what microbiome will do in our body is breaking down the good estrogen to make it ready for absorption and metabolism. Then we need to help the gut in producing more microbiome, preserving our good bacteria to be able to metabolizing the good estrogen and make it available to the cells. And also they can make on their own a little bit of the estrogen for our body too. It's not just whatever we get in. They are able to bring the good estrogen to our body. Then 24 hours gut health fasting, it gives the opportunity to our gut to rest, not to eat. And that's the time the microbiome start, growing and make the estrogen available for us.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes. And there is a third type of fasting to helping our estrogen. We call the HPO axis fasting to keep the HPO axis healthy. What is HPO? HPO stands for hypothalamus, which is in our brain, pituitary gland, which is in our brain, and O is our ovary. But if you're in menopause, it would be your adrenal gland. Then there is an axis between your brain and your end organ, which can be ovary or adrenal. We need to keep the axis very healthy and detoxing these axes. Then they can send a message and pulse from your brain to your end organ to producing your good hormone. Then how you can do it, you have the 17 hours intermittent fasting. During these 17 hours, we decrease the inflammation on these axes and also, bringing the toxin low on these axes and give the opportunity they can work properly and they can send the signals to your end organ. And these 17 hours also helps to producing not the new neuron, the message between neurons can be transmitted smoothly from brain to the end organ. Then we need it for our, ultimate HPO axis health. We need to do these 17 hours, which is ultimately helps your estrogen goes high too.
Your good estrogen. Your good estrogen.
High.
Very good. And so when you say the 17 hours, again, it's every day. It's a lifestyle that you are fasting for 17.
Day. Absolutely. And one day I always keep it for feast. I do every day. And my Sunday is my Sunday. I enjoy my Sunday. I have a feast. I make whatever I like it and enjoy still everything healthy, everything organic, but I enjoy life the way I like it too. Then certain food and fruit also can help, improving your good estrogen. Brassica family, like a Brussels sprouts are very good. I highly recommend add it in your weekly diet and having different leafy green. As much as you eat different type of leafy green, you're improving your microbiome. They love to have a variety. You don't want to just eat one type of green every day. Then do the variety, artichoke, onion, garlic, beet, and flaxseed oil. I cannot emphasize more about flaxseed oil. Get the good organic cold compressed flaxseed oil, 2 to 3 spoons of flaxseed oil every day, straight to your mouth. that can help directly to improve your estrogen level.
That's it. I'm
And
buying it today.
yeah, I tell you which one is good
Okay.
after we finish.
Okay.
We don't want to advertise a brand, but make sure do your research. It should be organic, cold compress, have it, and it cannot stay more than a month. You have to just finish it and just buy the new one, because they're cold compressed. The lifespan is not too long. Then, and also berries and oranges, always good. There is no question on those. Add into your diet. These are all for your fasting, producing your estrogen level or increasing your estrogen level. Going to fourth type of fasting, which is for increasing your testosterone level. When we talk about testosterone, always, women get a little bit, thinking about, do I need really testosterone? They questioning why testosterone. You need your testosterone. You need testosterone for, your performance, your libido, and also your muscle. And I will talk about what's the symptoms of, low testosterone. Then you'll be aware of, yes, your body needs testosterone. As a woman, if your body makes testosterone every 30 days, the pulse every 30 days, you get that. Men, they get it every 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Then they have a different type of fasting to produce this testosterone compared to women. Then we'll talk about that, shortly. But remember that also when we talk about testosterone, remember your stress level too, because they're really the direct relationship between your testosterone and your cortisol and your insulin all together. Then when you have, again, a high stress level, your adrenal gland, there is a hormone specifically for producing testosterone and progesterone. They call DHEA, dehydroepiandrosterone. That hormone is a main precursor for making testosterone and progesterone. Then when you have a lot of, stress in your life, again, instead of your body producing DHEA and also going toward making testosterone, it goes to the other route, making cortisol for you. Then again, back to your adrenal health, it's important. If you have a lot of stress, then you don't have also enough testosterone for your body. Then what's the symptoms? Again, you see, decrease the libido and also losing your muscle. You feel, why I don't have the good muscle, good tone. Whatever you do, you cannot achieve it because of low testosterone. As also, you feel yourself no motivation to do workout. You need the testosterone to have that motivation bring to your life also. And what
it's funny, Dr. Seddigh, because we always think testosterone is equal to men.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the question. But
no, it's very important. Definitely it has such a, a significant impact in a woman's life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other studies shows that the amount of testosterone has, there is a correlation between losing weight and increasing the testosterone.
Wow.
Then fasting, that's the way that you can lose weight also, and you can improve the amount of testosterone. Then what you can do for improving the testosterone, for men, we recommend 17 to 24 hours fasting. But here we're talking about women's health. Then we talk about just the intermittent short fasting, which is a 13 to 15 hours fasting. And again, you can do it as a lifestyle every day, 1 day off. That can stimulate your testosterone also. Then we go to the last part of, type of fasting that can improve our progesterone level. And a lot of questions from, patients, a lot of question when you search fasting and progesterone that say, should we really do fasting for improving progesterone? Because there are limitations. There are, questions about certain, age, certain, if you're not menopausal and you're still getting your cycle, there is certain time during your cycle you shouldn't do fasting. During the ovulation, day 14 to 17, and that your body start producing your progesterone to do the ovulation, I don't recommend long fasting. And even if you're trying to working on your fertility, you want to just work, become pregnant, I don't recommend even you do fasting on those days. I put in the days between day 17 to 21st of your cycle, no fasting if you really work on your fertility.
I
But
see, because it could have the counter effect.
absolutely. That's why, people and patients asking, should we do it? And you look at the patient's, medical background, what's their problem? If your body making a lot of fibroid, if you have intermittent, bleeding between your cycles, then it means your body is low, it's low in progesterone. Then you need to do fasting. This is different. And what type of fasting I recommend for inducing progesterone is a short fasting. You don't do long fasting at all to achieve good progesterone. And still, we talk about those limitations of when you're working on your fertility, you don't do any fasting. Then, what's the sign of low progesterone? What do you see usually when people talking about, if I have really low progesterone without measuring it in your blood, just by sign and symptoms? Spotting, I mentioned spotting during between your cycles, and unexplained anxiety.
So
One
that's
day
a sign
you're
of low
good.
progesterone. Wow.
Exactly. You're good, and suddenly your mood is just going all over. You don't know why you're anxious, why you cannot sleep well, why you're losing your hair, why you have intermittent headaches, and infertility. And also, I mentioned about the fibroids and endometriosis. Then it means you're low in your progesterone and you need to do something for yourself. Then fasting, I mentioned that, and there are other way of increasing your progesterone naturally with a healing food. We call it healing food. There are beans, and also squash, and also butternut squash, pumpkin. It's full of progesterone. And also grass-fed meat. If you want to eat meat, I'm not a big advocate, but I cannot say don't eat at all. But if you want to eat, make sure it should be grass-fed and organic. Then you can have that also, not specifically pumpkin seed. Pumpkin seed.
Oh, pumpkin seeds.
Pumpkin seeds are, full of, progesterone, and also pumpkin seeds oil, cold compress to increasing your progesterone. You can 2 to 3 spoons of pumpkin seeds oil, you can have it throughout the day. And also dark chocolate. When we're talking about dark chocolate, it's all about moderation, not the full bar of the dark chocolate.
That's
You can have a
talking
piece.
to me. Nairi will have a full box of dark
I know.
chocolate.
When you give this permission to patient, next month they come back with extra. They say, doctor, you told me I can have dark chocolate, but I didn't say the amount. But I'm saying right now, moderation. Everything is about moderation. Then the other good thing I really love about, helping my progesterone, and in general, after I breaking my fast with any type of fast I do, is a bone broth. Have you
Bone
ever heard
broth.
about that?
I've heard about that. Yes, bone broth. We
Okay.
used to have it as young kids back home, but not
Very
here.
good.
So, see?
Actually, they start making, a lot of, stores. If you go to Whole Food, all the organic stores, and recently I've noticed Costco also brought the bone broth organic. Then I usually carry one. When I go to office, I carry one. I put it in the fridge. When I break my fasting, I drink 2 to 3 cups after I break my fasting. It has high amount of collagen and protein, which can restore your body after you're breaking your fasting, because you don't want to introduce carb, which gives you very quick satisfaction, but we don't want to just losing all those good properties that bring into our body by doing the long fasting. Then start drinking a cup of warm bone broth. You can make a bone broth at home also, adding a lot of fresh ginger, adding garlic, other things. Make it and put it in the freezer every day. You just take it one with you, and when you're breaking your fast, start with a good amount of fat, collagen, protein, and keeps
Awesome.
you very full. Then these are all about 5 different type of fasting that you can help your body go through the healing process, and also helping producing these sex hormones naturally, without introducing any exogenous hormones through bioidentical and other supplement. I'm not against of those.
Mm-hmm.
If you get to the point that your body needs those, that's okay to adding them. But as much as you can achieve it naturally, I highly encourage everyone to do it.
That's awesome, Dr. Siddiq. So you talked about
Absolutely.
5 different types of fasting,
Yes.
and actually, intermittent fasting as one of the secrets to keeping that fountain of youth. And you talked about fasting for insulin resistance, adrenal fatigue, and cortisol, and a few different types. And so our audience, obviously, it's a lot of information, valuable information to keep in mind. So if basically, let's understand, if someone came to visit you
Yes.
about their situation, you're going to do a blood panel. You're going to
Yes.
see what their specific situation is, and then you're going to guide them through one of these 5 fasting methods, correct?
You can actually not just choosing one. You can, if you notice that they're having overlaps,
Uh-huh.
any type of fasting can induce certain hormone. But if you want to just have all, which they are all good for your body, you can mix and match these type of fasting.
So do you do that in your practice with your patients? You can just, coordinate and design how they're supposed to do things, or at least guide them and help them to get started?
Yes, definitely. When I do the hormone panels, the first thing you want to just see what's your status, what's your
Mm-hmm.
body, the hormonal status, based on your hormone, based on your medical, conditions and medical backgrounds, you can design different type of fasting, help patient to just okay start this fasting. And sometimes they call me in the middle of their fasting, they have a lot of questions because this is new, and I always take them baby steps. You need
Mm-hmm.
to train your body go through these fasting. It's not something you're jumping on 17 hours fasting. And we'll guide them, we'll help them. And I use also product in addition. Sometimes when I started like a training of
Mm-hmm.
your body, Prolon, it's from Dr. Longo. It's very famous anti-aging physician as a part of USC faculty. Dr. Longo designed intermittent fasting package, which is really helping for reducing the inflammation in the
Mm-hmm.
body. This is a 5 days, very squeezed type of fasting. It comes with a product. Then patient that they don't have any clue of how they do fasting, they can start Prolan as a start kit.
As a jump
That
start, very good.
exactly, and it has an amazing effect in your body and decrease. It shows actually the Prolan. If you want to just do a little bit of research on that, decrease the risk factor for certain cancer in your body.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing if your body going through, because we don't know when we're going through the cells changes and mutation to go through become cancerogenic. When you do these type of fasting, it actually decrease the amount of the chance and risk factor for certain cancers in your body. Then I highly recommend Prolon also. It's been using as a jump start too.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Siddiq. This was
Absolutely.
truly It was truly a valuable and impactful talk. Ladies, remember, if you have questions, inquiries, you can reach out to us at www.theavantiwoman.com. Also, you can directly contact Dr. Seddigh via her website at www.healthwatchers360.com or call her office at 818-671-1989. Dr. Seddigh, again, thank you so much. And
absolutely. It was a pleasure to be with you. I always enjoy.
Same here. And thank you all for listening. Please stay tuned to learn about the second secret to the Fountain of Youth with Dr. Maryam Seddigh Tonekaboni. And that's coming up in just a few weeks. And remember to follow us on our social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the Avanti Woman. Until next time, take care of yourselves, be happy, and thrive.